But let's move on. I want to talk a little bit about Arctic storm rising, which is this interesting clash between Russia and the United States and some things going on up in Alaska, which is easy to think so far away we forget about it. Before we tell more about that story, what inspired you to write about that area, that space, those issues?
Well, I think the Arctic is going to be a major battleground in the near future. I think with the polar ice caps shrinking and it seems like Russia is building more and more bases in the Arctic. I think that's going to have a real importance. Right now, the going from the Pacific to the Atlantic, you can make it 4 times faster if you go over the pole. So once large ships are able to do it without icebreakers, I think that's really going to open up the Arctic. So I think that could very easily become a major battleground. And I think the Russians are getting ready for that battleground, and I think the United States should also. And that's why I wrote the novel, because I want to make people aware of what's going on in the Arctic.
Well, and that's really a signature of Dale Brown's stories, is this mix of what's going on today that kind of inspires it, or looking into the future and sort of saying, geez, I can see this coming. Let me put this in a format that folks will read. And I guess in some regards you're trying to educate the reader about what might be coming. Isn't that? Am I reading it the right way?
Yes, absolutely. I've always tried to do that. I'm big into technology. I like reading about
you just stole my next question. Go ahead and answer this one, then I'm going to ask you about technology, because I had the same response.
Yeah, I love that subject. I love finding out what's going to happen, what's on the drawing boards now that will start coming out in the next 3 to 5 years or so, and then write about that technology as if it really exists right now. So that's what I've always tried to do, and I think I think Arctic Storm Rising is a little bit less heavy with the technology. It's more of a small unit operation up in the Arctic, but it's still has a little bit of a futuristic technology. But really try to get away from the futuristic stuff and just talk about small units, small unit tactics, and just writing about the Arctic, which is a whole nother area. I think you're absolutely right. It's very easy to forget about the Arctic and forget about Alaska and forget about the conditions up there and what's it like to fight conflicts up there. And I think that's really what I wanted to show people also.
Well, this fits right. This book, Arctic Storm Rising, fits right into that pattern of, you've got a dozen or so bestsellers that fit right into this category of sort of dealing with geopolitical and technology advances and how it fits into military or country conflicts. So nobody's going to be disappointed in reading this one. Tell us a little bit about Arctic Storm Rising.
Well, it's really what I want to envision will be the opening salvos of a conflict set in the Arctic. I think I want to try to tell the readers, as you say, educate the readers in what's it like to fight up there, what's it like to survive up there, and really kind of map out what a possible conflict would be. Small unit size, not very large, not a whole World War type scenario, but what's it like to live up there? What's it like to fight up there? And exactly how a battle between the United States and Russia might develop like that.
Well, we hear so much when we read the newspaper about sort of both China and Russia testing the U.S. In different theaters around the world, and I think I just read that China is flying planes at 100 feet off the sea into Taiwan airspace just to see how good the radar systems are. And
exactly.
And that's sort of what you've got going in Arctic Storm Rising is the Russians making some aircraft penetration into U.S. airspace. just to see what's going on. Tell us what your thinking was there as setting up that part of the story.
Like what you heard? Listen to this full episode and more on the Apple Podcasts app, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. And now streaming on Amazon Music, Audible, and Spotify.